everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Husband Quotes, the channel for marriage advice, marriage entertainment, and everything else marriage. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So on Sunday night's episode, I want to say that it was a lot for your sis, to say the least. And I think for the most part, most of us just don't care what happened or what didn't happen between Bolo and some of the other ladies, which there's only like 3 ladies in question, which are Portia, Tanya, and Drew. So like I said, this episode was a lot for me because it was so graphic and it showed so much, y'all. Like Bravo turned up for real. And I will say that, this was one of the moments where I was glad my children weren't at the dinner table eating dinner while I was trying to catch up on my wretched reality TV shows. However, my husband was there, and honey, he couldn't believe what was being shown. So I think for me too, the episode with Bolo was a jaw dropper. Like Bravo was airing out a lot of steam for this only to be a cable show with no commercials. It wasn't like it was HBO or something. But moving on, before we get into this video of Kenya Moore saying the behavior from the ladies was not appropriate, whether they were married or engaged.
Some of those girls and what they were doing, I would not want to be married to them because it was a real freak show, and some had rings on, so it was not appropriate behavior for women. Even if the cameras were off, you should know not to engage in that kind of behavior if you're married or if you're engaged.
So you think that some of their behavior was inappropriate if you're in a relationship, period, or engaged or married?
But honey, let's address Portia Williams and the work that she's put into therapy and how it's actually paying off. And then the fact that she didn't give Kenya Moore the same energy that Kenya was throwing her way. Now, fans are praising Portia by saying that Portia didn't go in on Kenya. And fans are saying truth of the matter is about why Kenya called Portia out is because LaToya made out with Portia instead of Kenya Moore herself. So fans are saying from that moment on, that made Kenya mad and jealous of Portia. And fans continue on social media by saying that Kenya trying to force the conversation about what happened that night with Bolo and some of the ladies, that really at the end of the day, nobody owes anybody any type of explanation, not LaToya or Portia or Tanya. And I completely agree with that statement. But the true tea that needs to be spilled is, why did Tanya not return for filming after that trip? Now, Kenya and Drew both confirmed that she did not return, and it's weird. It almost makes Tanya look guilty. But it's Tanya's business, and I'm gonna mind the one that pays me.
Let's talk about Tanya for a bit. I think before the season aired, this story about this bachelorette party was everywhere, and I think there were reports that she quit after this. Did she film with you guys after this whole episode, or?
Not at all. Not one time. Not with Portia. Not with anyone else. Not one time. No.
And I feel like I know the answer to this question, but do you feel guilty? Do you feel guilty at all that, because I feel like, I don't know this to be true, but I feel like Tanya's relationship may have caused the issue in her relationship after this whole fiasco. Do you feel guilty at all? Like I may have exposed her accidentally, or do you feel any? Well,
she exposed herself. I mean, she put herself in that room. I never said her name. So. Okay. That's one. 2, she's grown. Okay. And decisions that she makes, she has to live with her decisions. Okay. She made it a point that I wasn't her friend or, the same as Fortune. So no, I don't. And number 3, I would not want, any relationship to suffer from what other people do, but then you have to consider that before you do the behavior that you're involved in. You have to consider that before. And you can't blame someone else for your actions. Period, point blank. You can't. And for
fourth of all, okay.
You don't know what kind of relationship they have or what they're into or what they like. That might be something that's acceptable for them. She said on the bus that, kind of alluded to they've had threesomes before and things like that. And to be quite honest, I don't know what Tanya did in that room. I can't say that she engaged with the stripper. I know she was in that room because she told us she was in the room. And I know how long they were in the room, and I know what was heard in the room for the length of time. So that being said, I can't testify to that.
Tell y'all, I haven't, seen Tanya, but we kept in touch, through text. She is so fun, so sweet. But what happens at a girl's bachelorette party, I was taught, stays at a girl's bachelorette party. You know what I'm saying? We were celebrating my girl Cynthia. And honestly, in all honesty, I know that we had like a little after party and everything, but all this speculation and these allegations that Kenya was throwing around, I truly, honestly, right hand to God, don't even know what she's talking about. And I thought it was really crazy to me because they weren't filming. Now they're saying like cameras caught something, and I don't know what the cameras caught. So I'm gonna be watching with y'all to find out like what went down. Like, is it something that really went down? But it was pretty disgusting to me that she would throw these allegations around. And I'm like, you were in the bedroom with them, even if something went down. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like how you can just throw that, as we're all women, either in relationships, trying to fix our relationships, we have kids, and you're going to throw these nasty speculations around. Like, we don't do that here. That shouldn't be okay. And but I don't know if there's truth to what Kenya was saying, because I honestly don't know.
So y'all take a listen to this interview with the Jasmine brand with Kenya Moore as she talks about the behavior from some of the women. And be sure to check back later, because I do have an update on Kenya and Mark Daly's divorce. Now this is true tea and not just alleged tea, because it came out of Kenya Moore's mouth herself. As always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave your thoughts, and as always, I will talk to you guys in the next video.
The thing with our show is we don't know what other people are filming. We only really find out if it's said in a scene. So if someone is having a conversation in a kitchen or in a bedroom or anywhere, we don't actually know because they don't tell us. Only brought back to us in a scene. So yeah, it's impossible to really say, but a lot of people were talking about it. I'm just not sure if all of those people were talking about it on camera. So for us, because it's reality TV, we don't have a script, and people will, producers will remind you to bring up something that was talked about in a previous scene with yourself. And so you just never know where the information is coming from half the time, or who's talking about whom. And it's just, you have to stay on your toes. So to that, you are correct. But in that episode, and while I was at the house, I remember when, before anyone was up, I was going around to some of my girlfriends' rooms and having conversations about it, and I don't think that was on camera.
This was a big a topic of conversation last night. Do you think you broke girl code?
Well, no, I don't think I broke girl code, because that implies that I am somehow snitching on my friends. And we already know who the people are involved. And Portia clearly said, I'm not her friend. So there's no girl code if I'm not your girl.
Okay. Well, this leads me to my next question. If it was Cynthia that you heard with Bolo, or if it was Candy, would your reaction have been the same? Would you still have investigated? I'm not saying Candy or Cynthia would have done this, but I'm just asking, if you heard Cynthia or you heard Candy or someone that you were close with, would you still, your approach been the same?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, come on, I'm being honest, and I've only been honest on this show. If they were doing something inappropriate, we would have chatted about it. We would have had conversations about it, but it would not have been on camera. But at the same time, my girlfriends they just wouldn't engage in that kind of behavior. Candy is the queen of all things freak nasty.
She is.
And she owns it, and I love her for it, because she is living her life out loud. Regardless of who may judge her or who may not, she does not care, and that is why I'm a writer for her. She orchestrated the entire night, yet she did not engage in any of that behavior, because number one, she's married, and whatever their rules are, she definitely honors her husband. Some of those girls and what they were doing, I would not want to be married to them, because it was a real freak show, and some had rings on, so it was not appropriate behavior for women. Even if the cameras were off, you should know not to engage in that kind of behavior if you're married or if you're engaged.
So you think that some of their behavior was inappropriate if you're in a relationship, period, or engaged or married?
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting banged out by a stripper, I think that's pretty inappropriate.
But okay, hold on. When you say banged out, what do you mean? Do you mean like groping and like with clothes on, or you mean like?
Oh, come on. You need to watch that episode again, because when certain people were talking about what they were doing, and then you could see through the outside window, that outside camera was showing them, you know, bouncing up and down. They weren't bouncing up and down on the air. It was on someone else's body. There was so much contact and so much, you know, it was shocking to me. It was actually shocking.
Okay.
I know. I know. Listen, my husband and I are having issues. I think everyone knows that. I would never put myself in a position where I'm letting a stripper bang his hard penis against my body like we were actually having sex, and that is a lot of what I saw.
Okay. Latoya said that you were making fun night a problem. What's your response to that?
I mean, she has a right to her opinion. I think a lot of the things that she did, she didn't want people to know. So that is where all of this angst against me comes from, is because they wanted to take the party to another level. And listen, I'm going to protect my girl as much as I can, but they didn't want their business out. And if they didn't want their business out, I just feel like, well, then don't do it on a reality TV show where there are still cameras recording you. Even if it's not video, there's sound, and like you saw, there were cameras outside that caught them.
I guess overall, what was your issue with what you saw or their behavior, or mainly speaking about like Portia, Tanya, I guess Latoya, Drew? What was your issue with it?
Okay, listen, if they want to call me an auntie, I'm going to go ahead and be their auntie, okay?
Okay, auntie.
Go ahead and take that title and run with it, honey. Because if they were, imagine if they had brought their children, okay? Would they still have done the things that they were doing if their children were there? And I just think it's kind of duplicitous behavior for them to cry that their children aren't on a trip, but yet, if your child was there, would you have been in a room with Bolo? You know what I mean? Like, would you have been doing all of the things that you were doing and engaging with various people if your child was there? So it's almost like, my grandmother used to always say, you have to behave in a way that's consistent if you are being watched in the public or behind closed doors. So,
okay.
Listen, a grown woman can do whatever a grown woman wants to do. Let's be clear about that. I'm not trying to judge people for what they're doing, but at the same time, don't lie on me. Okay, so don't talk about I'm lying and calling me all kind of names and coming after me, trying to play a victim and things like that, when it's clear what happened. You can tell me, you know what, it's none of your business. You can say, I had fun, that was the end of it. But when you cross that line, when you're saying that what I'm saying is a lie and what other people saw and heard are lies, then that's what I have a problem with. Don't call me a liar. I did not lie on you. If you want to make it be about that, that's your Olivia Poping the situation. But it is what it is. And that is, that's all I really have to say about it.
How much money do you think he made that night?
Well, he at least made $4,000 in tips, and then I'm sure Candy is very generous, so I'm sure she paid him to be there, and what other tips he may have gotten on the side.
Okay.